waiting for Suzanne, so she could be there to our appointment for the interview. All Rotarians talked about it. Talks. All Rotarians talked about it. Talks about it. Oh, Susanna, tell me when you'll be there. It's gonna be fun. I have great questions for her. If she gets in there. Hey! How are you?
Good, bonjour.
Bonjour! That's great seeing you. So, welcome every Rotarian, and I'm the web host of that new web series. Every Rotarian talks about it. And we have our guest, Suzanne Uhl-Melancon.
Uhl-Melancon.
As Yul Brenner, the bald guy, you know?
That's it. Can I drink my wine while you're talking?
Of course, and let's cheers with my kombucha.
Cheers.
Cheers. So, Suzanne Uhl-Melancon joined the Rotary Club of Waterville in November 1999 as the Prince song, 1999. After just dabbling in Rotary, showing up to meetings but not really participating, what was it about?
I wasn't involved. Nobody involved me in Rotary. Nobody put me on committees. I just showed up, went to meetings, and it just wasn't happening for me. I went, not really knowing what to expect, and I wasn't putting anything into it. So I decided after 5 years that it was my fault because I wasn't engaging myself. So I decided to give it a go. So I joined some committees, and I decided that I really needed to participate in order to really understand what Rotary was about. And then if I didn't like it, I'd move on. I was new to the community. So I had just moved to Waterville.
Okay.
And I had started my own business. And I wanted to get to know what we would call influencers, important people in the community. I wanted to get to know who they were. And Rotary was the place to do that. It was the place to meet all of the important community leaders. Yeah. So that's why I joined.
You attended our first district conference in Quebec City, and then you were hooked.
Yes.
What happened there?
I met all of my favorite Quebecois. Everybody was very friendly. The food was great. Yeah. The wine was not too shabby.
Yeah.
And it was just a great experience in a wonderful city. Oh, I then realized there was more to Rotary than just one club. That's right.
I saw a picture of you on the Facebook page about having a shower with the tuba and the mask.
Every year we have an auction, and we had one this year. In fact, it's called Spring Fling, and these are adventures that our club Rotarians donate. So our incoming president auctioned the opportunity for somebody to dump ice cold water on his head. So I bid that up to $150.
Wow.
So it's always for a good cause.
It's an expensive shower.
Then our Sergeant of Arms, John Dalton, he jumped up and he said, I will double that bid if I can dump the water on our district governor. So it's like, okay, fine. You want to spend that much money to dump water on me? Bring it on. So when I showed up with a mask and the snorkel, and he poured the water on top of me. My year was really more about membership, engaging our members. Everybody had to serve on a committee. We would not let them.
That's good.
By the first month, they had to sign up for some kind of committee, and there were plenty of opportunities. because we were a large club. And so it was really engaging our members. I'm not a good singer at all, but it is fun.
You know that Flintstone song?
So I can hum the tune. That's about it. But
Yeah.
I'm not doing that alone. Ready for adventure, all together with Rotary. Let's live at full throttle, taking the time to swing into action.
Let's live.
Fellowship and loyalty, dreaming of a world of liberty. Ready for adventure with a lot of friendly members, dynamic members. Say that is goofy.
Yeah, it is.
You know what? My guilty pleasure is having a massage. You know, I didn't start having massages until this year. And then I would go once a week to treat myself. It's a guilty pleasure for a massage.
Yeah.
And then COVID-19 hit, and I haven't been able to go back yet. This would have been the first year that we were inviting people from out, because you were participating. This was the first year we were inviting people from outside of Rotary to attend our conference.
Yeah.
We had a lot of interest because of the program you were going to do. And we are doing a program on opioids, on a training program. It took maybe nine takes, and Jeff was getting he said, just say it, just tell me to go home and get the speeches that you left on the table. That's all you need to say.
Yeah.
We kept laughing, and
yeah.
But it didn't didn't take that long. That was the one that took the longest. And then he would, when he thought he was recording, he wasn't recording. And so when we were just talking about it, his phone was aimed at the ground, but you could hear us talking in the background. And then when he started filming, he wasn't really filming. So we had to do it all over again.
Oh no.
This is something nobody knows about me. I received the Student Athlete Award. So you had to academically be one of the top students in the school and also the most athletic female.
Wow.
Yep. So that was a big award when I was in a teenager. What I tell myself, knowing what I know now, right? You know, I did not have a lot of self-confidence when I was young. And I think what I would have done was I would have told myself to not be afraid to try different things. So to get out of my comfort zone a little bit more and not be afraid to try new things. It would be Madeleine Albright. Madeleine Albright was the first woman Secretary of State for the United States. And she really paved the way. And I read just a little autobiographical column about her, and I listened to her on an interview. Such an intelligent woman. As you can imagine, when she was Secretary of State, it had to have been probably 15 years ago at least. And that's when women didn't have, and they still don't, but they didn't have any really high positions. And so you can imagine Secretary of State for the United States being a woman traveling all over the world and having to engage with men from different cultures. But she was really a firecracker and really well respected for what she did. So I would want to sit down with her and have lunch with her. The book choice was really hard. And so rather than, I would leave it up to the genie, but it would have to be a book of poetry. You could read poetry, or at least I could read poetry, the same poem, over and over and over again and get something different out of it. Music, I think, would be probably the Beatles and either their White Album or Revolution, and only because I never get tired of listening to their music either. So I could listen to their music all the time. Back must have been in the 50s and 60s, there was a TV series called I Love Lucy.
Of course, Lucille Ball.
Yes. So if I could, instead of a movie, if there was one long program with all of her best shows They're so funny. It'd be a comedy. And, you know, if you're going to be stuck on a desert island for 15 years, you really have to have something to laugh about. Eradicate polio. You know, the other would be to get rid of all of the conflict in the world. So there's no more conflict. People talk, they come to solutions,
Okay.
and the world is a better place. And part of that other wish, I think, is it's got to be a two-handed wish, would be really to get rid of all racial injustice. I'll tell you a story.
Yeah.
I've been on the other side of the fence. So I actually lived in Puerto Rico for almost a year. And where I lived in Puerto Rico, there were not many white people.
Supposedly.
And so I stood out. So anytime I went to the store, anytime I went shopping, I was the person that people were looking at.
Yep.
And because I was surrounded by people of darker skin, I didn't even think about it because everybody was like that, right?
Yeah.
So I got so used to it, it didn't even occur to me. But then I would catch people glancing at me, wondering, well, what is this gringo doing down here? You know, why do we see her at the store more often? But you know, so I was on the other side. Well, I tell you, I had a restaurant at the time in Maine, and the owner of the resort ate at my restaurant, and he really liked it. And every time he'd come, he was from Puerto Rico, and he had friends in Maine, and when he would come, he'd come to the restaurant. And so one time he said, would you ever consider coming to Puerto Rico and running my restaurant at my little resort in Puerto Rico? So we went down and cleaned up the restaurant and changed the menu and did all sorts of things, renamed everything, and that was that. It was a very interesting and fun experience. You make it with green plantains.
Okay.
And you slice up the plantains, you fry them in a fry later, take them out, you smash them between two wooden blocks, and then when you're ready to serve them, you put them in the fry later again, fry them one more time. Ooh. And they come out, and they're about this thick, and they're about that big around, and a little bit of salt, a little bit of pepper, and they're just like a big fat potato chip.
Oh, wow.
Only they're better for you. New Zealand.
Lord of the Rings.
Yeah. Everyone says it's one of the most beautiful places in the world. I've been geographically where most of the clubs in Maine are. So, you know, I've been to Bar Harbor, been to Rockland, been to Camden, and it's beautiful. But being able to travel to Quebec province and cover so much territory, and it's just such a beautiful province. And the clubs are beautiful everywhere in Maine and Quebec. I mean, really, that's really what it's all about for me. I think the hard part is the planning that continues to take place. Planning for your project, planning for the district conference. It takes a lot of time and takes a lot of energy. So that's hard. Wearing the lobster hat. Yeah, the first time I had to wear that, I felt pretty foolish. You know, I'm not afraid of too many things. You know, I've jumped out of airplanes before, I've scuba dived. You know what? I think my biggest fear would be not living long enough to accomplish everything I want to accomplish.
The sisterhood of stealing the bell. Does that ring you a bell? Yes.
Right. Well, we have a tradition in our district that when you visit another club, if you steal their bell and you make it back to your club with their bell, they have to send somebody from their club.
Yep.
To get it. So when we had the RI Rotary International president actually came to Booth Bay Harbor, Maine, and many of us went to hear him speak. And we had a big storm, and everybody had to move inside. So people were figuring things out, and everything was in a lot of state of confusion. Anyway, at the end of everything, oh, here, I'm going to ring the bell. No. All right. So see this? This is a ring for more wine bell.
Okay.
So Jeff heard the bell ring, and he came down with more wine.
Okay.
So anyway, so at the very end of that meeting, there was a bell that was there, and a friend of ours who was with us, we thought, oh, wouldn't it be fun to steal this bell? We didn't even know who it belonged to. So we took the bell and we brought it back to our club.
Yeah. And
the district that's south of us, so it wasn't our district, we stole somebody else's district bell. And their district governor had to come and retrieve it because it was a district bell.
Wow.
They were so upset. They were really upset. But really funny, they came and they dressed as policemen and they put me into handcuffs and they arrested me. It's, you know what, that's one of my biggest regrets, is that I didn't learn to be fluent in French before becoming district governor.
Okay.
I try to speak when I'm visiting clubs. During the social hour, I will try to speak a little French. But my biggest regret is that we should encourage every Maine district governor to spend a year or two with learning the language.
The last question in French. Quelle est la définition du bonheur pour toi?
Oh, de bonheur. Définition.
Du bonheur.
Le bonheur est un grand homme et fait de neige. Oui?
Recommence.
Bonhomme.
J'ai pas
Le
tout
bonhomme.
compris. Oui, le bonheur.
Non, bonhomme.
Le bonhomme. Bonhomme.
Bonhomme, oui. Et un grand homme de neige.
OK.
Oui. Dans le
Carnaval.
est très, très froid. Et le bonhomme marchait dans the word for parade. Oh, begins with a D. Déficit?
Non, défilé.
Défilé. Okay, so le grand homme marche dans le déficit. Et fini. That's terminé. That's it. That's it.
They say this is your definition of happiness. What is happiness for you?
Oh, I thought you were talking about the bonhomme in the.
That's why my French is not that good.
You were asking for the definition of
Happiness.
The sourire on tout le monde.
Okay.
If you smile, you know, either you've done something you shouldn't have done, or you're feeling really good. When I'm all done with my year,
Yeah.
June 30th, my list of things to do is go on my Rotary, and the Toastmasters has 2 presentations on how to give a good speech. I'm putting together a booklet of best ideas from all of the clubs. Merci.
So, merci beaucoup d'avoir participé à cette rencontre.
Au plaisir.
Très amusant. Et on se revoit bientôt à Hawaï. On se revoit à Hawaï.
Au revoir.
Au revoir. See you. Bye-bye. So, you know, the beauty of that kind of filming is when I will do some mistake speaking in English, I will cut it. I will remove it. If you do some mistake speaking in French, I will keep it.